Let's take a look at what we got. We did the under 1,000 yesterday. And I think what I'll do is I'll start from the top. And in general, I say this often, but if you make it to one of these later graduations like Fiddler on the Tank, it's a big deal. Now, first of all, let's begin what Fiddler says. He says, my previous graduation was me not knowing how to work with the site properly. The main thing I believe I need to work on is evaluation and calculation, specifically complex calculations with lots of forcing possibilities or positional transformations. All right, let's go take a look. So here's the Fiddler, and that's a pretty good looking heat map, dude. He's playing a lot, and it looks like he's using the Lichess. This is some kind of custom thing that I don't comprende. He's done one tactics test, and the tactics test is putting him in the right arena for where he is. Welsh chess. Okay. So one thing actually, now that I know you're Welsh, is, now I don't know, Wales. I've been there once. The last millennium. I played a tournament in Cardiff. Oh, that was fun, dude. Drove from Oxford way back in 1990. I'm going to say a spring 1993. How about that, buddy? Anyways, what am I driving at? There is a club called the White Knights Chess Team here on the dojo. They are from Wales. Maybe you're close enough to join them. I don't know. The next thing I'm really driving at, though, is you should be playing some OTB games, for sure. Because I would say that if you're rated a little lower, but especially now that you're at 1900. So at this level, for example, you're going to just be playing a bunch of cheats online. It's like the amount of cheaters you're going to be playing online at this level. Also, it's just... it's going to be hard to get those really longer, intense games now that you're up this high. Okay, so let's go. Maybe it's part of White Knights. No, just European Dojo. Check out that White Knights Club. And this looks great. I want to see a little bit what the non-dojo stuff is. Let's click this for a second. Dang, that dude's doing a lot. That pawn structure chess book set me back years. It set me back years. Okay. This looks great, though. This looks really cool. And this graph looks pretty cool. Yeah, this is looking great, man. This is looking good. A little bit weird how the end game, there's something wrong with the colors here, actually, right? Because the end game and middle games and strategy look a little too much the same. Quad XC says he played fiddle in my first Dojo Open guy ever. Super nice guy, this fiddle. Nice. Okay. As you can see, he's playing pretty regularly. Now let's go see if we can get a game. And here is Ben Brewer. And let's just see what we got here. So, boom, boom. Wait, no time graph or anything. And now, so what do? We hit the game review button, baby. Do I got to move around? No, I got a Stream Deck Quad. I got a Stream Deck Quad. I just hit it. It's so smooth. And Jack is so envious, dude, of my Stream Deck. He's kind of like Pruess. Like once, Pruess gets owned on something, he'll never actually do it. He'll be like, no, I'm better than that. I'm better than that. I don't need it. Like Pruess in his heart knows that the maiden twos are where it's at, but he's like, no, I'm too good for that, dude. I don't need that. And that's how Jack's treating this Stream Deck, baby. All right, here we go. So, okay, a little weird. Okay, definitely knight gf3 is the normal move. So, c3 and then e5. Okay. So, I can imagine this being a little bit of a bummer to face, honestly, right? This is called the Guimard variation, a travesty upon French players, this variation. Yeah. And you kind of, what should we say here? You kind of lose your mind a little bit. Now, it is a slightly difficult position to know what to do. I don't know exactly what to do for you either. But your solution can't be it, because now he's going to get a isolated queen pawn ending that we should think would be good for him. Yeah. So you talk about knight gf3, and I like this variation. This was what was going through my head, and I had no idea what the eval was here, but I did and do strongly suspect that you have full compensation here for your pawn. So I think this is a great variation for you. And you write, by rights, black ought to be in some trouble, probably involving the queen, king, and light squares, as e7 is well guarded. You do this one. Yeah. No, looks like great compensation. And so I would give it the compensation symbol, by the way, a little bit different, but we know where you're coming from when you write unclear. And I will also say, even though I have no idea what's going on here, I would definitely also rather be white. Okay, so you know what? I'm just looking at the notes, and the notes aren't as visible as I'd like them. So I'm going to make a jadoob over here. I don't know. Sometimes you got to make a jadoob. So that looks much better. All right. So queen f3. Snip, snop, takes. And now the guy plays knight b4, which feels a little frisky to me. Maybe it's okay. Well, it's probably okay. Now, you're going to go ahead and go around the mountain. Let's presume that this is okay. Knight d3, I'm not sure I like it. King f1. So the reason, by the way, that this is suspicious, all this stuff that he's doing, is because he's not developing, right? And let's look at your variations. So king e2, knight f4, king f1, bishop f5. Seem to me like helping black gain moves. And you have the amazing knight e4 here, which is a beautiful move. I don't even know if it works. I couldn't even tell you, like, off the top of my head if it's going to work, but it looks actually quite good. And actually, the thing to see about this position is the guy isn't developing his coconuts, He's not developing his coconuts. He deserves some kind of punishment for not developing his coconuts. Yeah, okay. So king f1, and now the problem is the knight just sits there. Knight f6. Okay, actually, well, I take it back. It's not just sitting there, is it? And now he plays knight c1. And the beauty of this is that he just developed your bishop for you. And you write, black naturally wants to retain the advantage of his position, but this exchange is an active piece off, developing one of white's with tempo. Absolutely. So when you think about it, like, our main problem here is developing our bishop. Anytime you put a knight on d2, knight d2 French, you're going to have a problem. You're going to owe another tempo. Now you don't even owe the tempo anymore. So here you're doing fine. By the way, so I just want to stress, he's trying to solve the game tactically here. And yeah, there's no business in solving the game tactically here. Just play knight f6. When you're ready, you get kicked or something, then you play knight d5. Put the bishop out somewhere. I don't know. Castle long. Chess is an easy game. It's not a hard game. People sometimes think it's a hard game. It's not. It's not a hard game, buddy. It's real easy. All right, here we go. Knight e5, good move. Bishop b4, I don't know. Knight df3. Okay, next thing. it would be great if we saw the times, clock times. Because what this feels like, okay? What this feels like is that your opponent isn't actually thinking, right? It feels like they're just, la-di-da, I'll do this, I'll do that. Okay, so he castles. And to me, the big question would be, could he play bishop e6? That's my big question. Now, why might I not? Maybe not, because of knight c6. But I would like to play bishop e6 because I would really like to castle long. My king will be active there, and I'll hit the weakness. Also on e6, I guard my little weak point. I can play bishop d5 if I want. Life is pretty great. And on this one, I think this is a mistake from white because these bishops are amazing. I mean, stunning, right? Now, we would want to calculate it. Don't get me wrong. There's still a little bit more to think about here. But in general, this looks great for black. All right, so castles, a3. I felt conflicted about this move. On the one hand, I don't want to help black improve the bishop. On the other hand, I don't want to allow bishop d2 if I'm playing knight g5. Okay. All right, let's talk about your position. You have a smidge of development advantage. You've got the ability to play bishop b3. Your king is your biggest problem, right? One thing I'm going to be looking for, too, is to what extent did you solve the problem of your king? Let's look at bishop b3, because I have an idea for you. Let's see what you say. Coordinating the king side, bishop e6. I wanted knight g5 in first, preventing bishop e6. He wants it all. Boom, boom. I felt that trading pieces here would leave me worse off. Apparently, my evaluation here was off, affected by feeling I am the one with the worst position, and white regains the smallest of edges due to initiative. I'm not really seeing it, if I'm honest. Okay, well, let me just say, for me, whether we say you're better or what, the thing that I like about your position now is because you eliminated this thing, your king can now go to e2. See, there's no more e-file. There's no more e-file. So now your king becomes strong. And you're doing, I think, pretty nice. Also because this pawn sits here. It's not like we want to necessarily win the pawn right away, but it makes the blockading square so much better. Classic Nimzovitchian theory, if you will. This guy's a chump. He can, he's probably going to go back anyway. We don't need to push him away. Yeah. And here we have a small advantage. So a3, you're trying to go too hard, and you are trying to solve things tactically instead of just by fixing your stuff. So a3 fixes the bishop. Knight g5, here you go for broke. And now bishop f5 is what the guy plays. I'm kind of confused, though. I mean, bishop f5 is probably fine, but if he just does this to you, I don't think you get to take, right? He's doing great. No, the milk has gone bad, right? Apparently, we have somebody whose game this was, maybe either black or white. Maybe this is the YouTube chat. Maybe they can tell us. So I don't understand knight g5, but I get how a3 was like, this is your big intention. But h6, I don't know. Bishop f5, f3. Interesting. Makes me a little nervous. What about h6? That's what he does. Things get a little wild with g4. Does this really help? I don't know. Dude goes all the way back. Why? He wants to go to e6, I guess. Now, to me, bishop h7 just... Well, okay, I get it. He doesn't want his knight to be taken. Now, let me just say, this g4 move is kind of interesting. There are questions. There are questions. First question, if I take this thing, what's actually happening? To me, it looks like I've lost a pawn. Now, on this, we have to see that this is a check. So bishop g4, I don't know. It looks like I just lost a pawn. Yeah. The milk has no coconuts, boss. All right. So yeah, we have the white player in the chat. So really cool. He's on the YouTube. We have a YouTube chat. We have a Twitch chat. He's on the YouTube chat. Okay. So this is all very creative, but it looks like bishop g4 does the deal. Now bishop c8, black should feel mortal pain. Well, I was going to say moral pain. I think moral pain is also a good one to say here. Just because, they told me in school you don't want to go backwards, right? And here he is going backwards. So, you talk about knight gf7, good. And I agree with you that in this position we got to believe in black, right? So, you go for it. I don't know. That's some spicy chess right there, man. That's a spicy chess. Do I believe in it? No, but, this is something I could be wrong on. It's pretty interesting. All right, here we go. Boom. Boom. Dude takes. Now, we might want to analyze knight d5, honestly, because, let me just, I don't actually, maybe I understand psychologically why black would play bishop e5, but I don't see why black's in a rush to do it. But all right, we're going to check out bishop e5. I think knight d5 looks fine too. I don't yet see white's big crusher here. So the first bummer that you write is that really our rooks are having grief getting over. So white has one idea. It's called checkmate. If he doesn't deliver this checkmate, he's crispy critters. So here we go, king f2. And now we want to talk. All right, now black plays rook e8. To me, there seems to be like a number of ways for black to defend this thing. Let's see what he does. Okay, so here we go. Rook e8, rook h2. Okay. Now, king f8. And then you give a check. He could also, I think, maybe it's insane, but rook takes e5 looks fine because rook e5, rook h1, king f8, and there's going to be some compensation. But ultimately, the reason I don't believe in this position for white is this guy isn't really doing anything. Now, maybe I could be convinced. It's really a bummer, though, because we have a distinct threat. Let's say rook g8 to double, and b5 here, and then, yeah, we lost our coconuts. Our coconuts are gone. Our coconuts are gone. Okay, so now let's just give a chance to what black does. Make some sense. Yeah. So now let's see. King e7. And now you go rook h8. And in addition to b5, bishop b7, he's got this knight b6 thing. That's unfortunate, right? Okay. Now he's got a number of moves he could do here. Knight c4 also looks good. Rook d8, that's fine. The bummer with king e3 is knight c4 looks very unpleasant. and then I guess we're toast. But you didn't resign, which is a good thing. Yeah, we're gonna hope it's a good thing. Well, let's go on here. Okay, so black wins this game. I have a coach, and I feel like the lecture he gives me all the time is a similar lecture that I think both players here deserve. So, yeah, we got caught in the opening, but Black didn't. Black played for tricks. Okay, so this move, let me just say, in of itself, I don't think is a bad move. But the problem is he should be thinking more about this square and less about this square. Black just needs to catch up in development here. And c6 is a good move for us to make. So this position, great. And all Black needs to do is just develop his coconuts. But instead, he starts playing with his one pretty piece. And now you get this position, and I don't know. I feel like you're doing fine. You're doing fine here. So it was then here where you just got to think less in terms of murdering him in some fancy way, and instead just focus on the basics of the position. So for me, the mucho basic thing is our king needs a square. Right? Our king needs a square. Unfortunately, g3, bishop h3, and king e2 just makes me too nervous because some rook e8 stuff. Right? So this bishop b3 thing is less about all the other stuff and more about, to me anyways, now my king is just so happy. What a clam! What a clam! I don't know why I say the word clam, but I just feel, clams are secure little creatures. And that king feels like a secure little creature. Yeah. Okay, so well done. Well done. And I don't know why the game isn't carried over. Okay, but this is a tournament. So let me just say one more thing. When I looked at your profile, it seemed like you were basing it off your Lichess rating. And then your OTB, eventually we want you to base it off that. But also, just to stress, you can you can track your times in here. And you just put it on your score sheet. If you don't want to do it every move, you can do it every couple of moves. Put it into our beautiful thing here. It will give you a graph. It will help you see what was going on in the game. And then also give me, people watching your game, a sense of what was going on. For example, I would want to know, if I was your coach, did you think forever on this move? How long did you think on this one, right? Did this one throw you for such a curveball that you took 20 minutes on it? For example, these are just the basic questions. And then when you began, I think, to me, the critical position was here. And did you think you were winning? Was it like one of these things you're thinking forever? Those kinds of questions. Okay. He's in chat saying he can't find the score sheet. Well, at least he remembered the game. At least he remembered the game. All right, let's continue. Next up, we have Colt Thompson. Colt has been on this show a couple times. New dad now. I wish I would say your life says congratulations. Your chest says you blew it, buddy. That's what it says. I'm a new dad. Finding time for self-improvement is harder. We have to make time for the things we care about. I am very happy to have the dojo so that every hour feels like it counts. Community keeps me want to keep doing my best at chess. Life can be so nice. That guy's amazing. Pheno Chess, that guy's amazing. And MD Knight, that guy's also amazing, have been very active with their support. Special shout out to Jamie. I constantly felt like we were neck and neck at the top of the cohort. I put in serious hours to compete with you. Fantastic. Yeah, fantastic. I can get shout out all those people. I just want to say, when we were designing the heat map, I was just looking at people to see what the heat map looked like. And I saw Pheno Chess's heat map, and it was just like, damn, that guy's putting in some work, man. Yeah. Fiddler, thank you for being here. Okay. Oh, am I in the wrong one? Whew, not game review, boss. You got to go over here. So even though I have this beautiful new Stream Deck, it doesn't mean that I necessarily am going to switch all the time. I'm going to blow it sometimes, okay? All right. So, Colt, congratulations on being dad. Let's go check out what's going on. Colt is doing a lot of work. As you can see, a lot of tactics. That's all that green. He's putting in some daily tactics work. Okay, let's look clubs. Arkansas, dude. Okay. He's a new dad. Let me just say, this is the advice I give to new dads, whether they're chess players or not. There's some hormonal stuff that goes down that when they talk about dad bods, they're talking about this thing, like this hormonal thing that goes on, and people are bringing you food and stuff thinking they're being helpful. They are not being helpful. They are not. So I just want to stress that. It's like a hormonal thing, and you got to be way on top of it. It's a weird thing for everybody who's become a dad. A lot of people's chess suffers right after they become a dad too. And you could say it's about the time that you no longer have and that's true, but there's also some weird hormonal things. So that's just something to be aware of. Yeah. And for your chess and yourself, being fit, huge plus. Okay, here we go. We got some clubs. I want to just look at the activity. Activity is looking grand. Let's actually go back and see how he did it. So 14, 15, did 402 hours. That's no chump change right there, my friend. That's what you see what it takes. That's what you see what it takes. And there's a lot of tactics going on there. A lot of tactics. Let's click on it. He's been doing the Polgars, looking good. And got up to 1,500 with the Polgars. So fantastic. Fantastic. All right, let's go look at a game. And Gravy Zombie, I saw him in the chat. Now, let's see if this one was kind of recent. Now, Colt, you're in the chat, so you could tell me which game to look at. My first intuition was one of these bad boys, but they're a little bit older, and I can see that these are online games. He's saying, check out the heat map before August. Dang! Look at that, dude. So we're going to guess that August is when dude had his kid right there, I have a feeling. Yeah. That just ended it. That just ended it. Now he's got a time for a daily tactic now. Okay, show me the Patzer. That's the most recent one. Let's check it out. Now we go game review, Bows. Go look to see. Oh, we got a nice time graph. Look at this. I just click it, and I got that time graph. Boom. So here we are, and I think this is, especially from you, Colt, this is a beautiful use of time. This is what we're talking about, the time graph. Just tells us a story, right? We can see both players feel kind of confident in the opening moves, and then we're going to guess that Black stopped thinking appropriately, but we'll just see how it goes. All right, back to the game review, Bows. Boom. Oh, who's got a Stream Deck? I've got a Stream Deck. Okay, this is called the Schmidt-Benoni. And I don't know what to do against this thing. Let's see how you do it. Boom, boom, boom. Fine. Boom. Okay. So the idea of the Schmidt-Benoni is in general for them to get really fancy and play bishop g5, exchanging off their bad bishop. So for that reason, people often play knight f3 here. Now, first of all, if they trade off the bishop, it's sad for us. That's their bad bishop. It's against our good bishop, but it's not the end of the world. Also, we want to say that after knight c3, a6, that a6 on the part of your opponent is a comfort move, okay? Because he could still play bishop g5. And what he's terrified of is somehow this knight b5 gets him. But it doesn't. That's just a chump knight. That knight's got to go nowhere. Forget about it. Forget about it. Okay. So for that reason, a6 gives you really an important tempo. And one of the things just to be aware of is at this level, the thing they're going to give you the most of is time. And so a6 we should think of as time. And you write a4, very important against the Benoni. Yes, yes. But he just gave you an important tempo, and b5 isn't really a threat right away, right? So I think knight f3 comes to mind, right? Okay, so a4, now he gets his little dream, and then I hate this move. You say, I know that h3 limits the light square's bishop effective range, and immediate knight f3 runs into bishop g4. The pawn is not dangerous, but black will feel more cramped after h3. Okay, now one thing to see is, let's go back and talk about your fears, because I have a feeling you didn't like this, this, and this. Now, what we just want to say about this is the way to think about it is I'm up in development, and he just gave me his good bishop. It's a King's Indian structure now. That's why in some ways it's confusing to call this a Benoni, right? A Benoni, to my mind, is more like ED, CD. In any case, now we have this bishop which is no longer working for him, and we're a little bit better. Okay, so here we go, a4, knight d7. Knight f6 seems more natural. Knight e7. Maybe, okay, he wants to maybe go knight g6 too. Okay. And castles. All right. Knight f6. And now knight d2. One thing I want to stress, this kind of position is hard to play because you have a space advantage, okay? Now, I think there's a lot about black's previous moves that we could criticize, but at the moment, what we really have to see is black has a simple dream of playing knight d2 and then knight f4. If he achieves those things, he's going to be more than okay. Notice we have a King's Indian structure where it's now not so clear how we're going to make progress on the queen side because of this big fat c5 pawn. And he got rid of our good bishop, right? So this is already all the brewings, all the brewings of a positional problem for us, okay? However, that said, I still like your position better, but we need to be drastically aware that we cannot allow knight g6, f4, right? Again, it's a King's Indian structure. Pawns are pointing this way, this way, and that's where he wants to attack. One way to think about this actually is Fischer, when he played the King's Indian, he really liked to play e5 and after d5, to play this c5 as a way to create a blocking situation on the queen side, kind of like his here, where, hey, we're saying you're not going to bust me open over there, Mr. White. That's the claim. We could have also debated whether this rook takes was correct, but I'm not going to get that granular just because we want to play a5. Okay, so in this position, I want king h2. I know it looks weird. What's the point, though? I need to be ready to meet knight g6 with g3. It is muy importante to me to prevent those knights from entering my kingside position. Muy importante. Yeah. And if I don't, remember, he's got long-term ideas that are very dangerous for me. So now knight d2, knight g6. Now I'm concerned. I can't play g3 anymore. MD Knight asks, have I thought about playing the World Senior? I'd love to, dude. I don't know why I'm not playing over there. You know what's wrong with me? I don't think I could have gotten away anyway because, like Colt, I got kids. All right, knight e2. Oh, actually, look at this. Look at this note. I want to play g3 so badly, but hanging the h3 pawn is undesirable. Okay, so just nota bene, we have some real grief now because these knights are hopping around on our soul, right? Okay, so, here they come. And we got to defend our bishop. Queen g5. Mate in one threat, but do not blunder. I like queen g5 because I think if it was my move as white, I would like to play knight g1. I know it looks weird, but the idea is to play knight g1 intending g3, right? And so queen g5, forcing rook g1, prevents knight g1, protecting this pawn. Okay, so now dude gets real frisky and plays queen h4. Let me just say, this move looks very scary to me. Okay, do I know the correct eval and all that other stuff? No, I don't know yet, but we'd have to look at this, this, and this, and I'm just going to say I'm scared. I don't know the answers yet. I just want to say I'm scared. Okay. Anyways, that's a different story. Queen h4, queen f1. I think that's a good move, and I can imagine your opponent missing that move. Right, so he's guarding h3 indirectly. Queen h6. This move does not inspire. This move doesn't inspire. Yeah, that move doesn't inspire anybody. And now you do this one, which is making me muy nervoso. Okay. So, now let me just say, the queen h6, maybe it will inspire me. Maybe I will find some inspiration. Right? He is trying to mess with me, and if I go knight f3, which is my natural move, then all of a sudden I don't actually have great moves after bishop g4. Is this true, though? Let's say I just back it up. Does it make me very nervous? Yes, it does. But I don't know if he actually gets me. It's making me very nervous, though. Okay. Why does knight b1 make me even more nervous, though? Because the knight is not helping on the king side. And I need as big of a force count as possible on the king side, because that is where, dude is doing his work. Okay, so now black plays bishop d7 and rook b8. If I was black here, or black's coach, I would be really interested in looking at f5 in particular, right? f5. There's a lot of questions, though. I think, yeah, f5. The first one is, what if I need an answer, or black needs an answer on ef. And to me, the answer is knight d3. And the point is that he cannot do this, I don't think, because of snippings on f2. So he goes snip, and I go snip, and I think we just have to say that's a very pleasant position for Mr. Black. Looks winning. Looks winning. Our pieces are discombobulated. He's got this business, yada, yada. And Gravy was saying knight, who is also central fire, who is also Colt. So knight g1 is a big idea. Yeah, knight g1, it's like one of the reasons when we go over our games, or sometimes you see that in classical games, there's a lot of Ruy Lopez games with the knight g1 idea. It just turns you on to the idea, and then, later you can use it. Okay, so bishop b7, I'm not inspired. You go a5. Rook b8, not inspired. And now you go rook a3. Okay, I'm not a huge fan of rook a3. And I'm also not a fan of really what black is doing. He's playing for b5, obviously. Why don't we play bishop c2, giving my rook the love over here, right? Giving the love. And if b5, I will simply sit. I will sit, baby, and ask you what you want, right? Now we're doing great. I don't know, great. Yeah, we're doing, I don't know who's better anymore. Let me put it that way, because this rook is out of play. All right, so rook a3 doesn't look right. That doesn't look right. But notice Black ran out of ideas of how to mess with you on the king side. And so now he's misplaced his rook over there. Why aren't, now we have a problem, because unfortunately we can't play b3, can't play rook a2. I don't understand. Okay, he took. Why wouldn't he take back that way? Aren't we still in big trouble? What would we do? This is a threat. I guess we play b3. I guess that's what was your intention, right? Yeah. We say the obvious. f5 needs to come. He needs to open up the coconuts. This rook, though, is definitely misplaced. Okay, so ef4. And now he's done a square clearance on the e5 square. You give it a question mark, but it looks pretty good, doesn't it? It looks pretty good. So, f3, wait, now I'm confused. Are we just allowing him to play rook takes b2? Why would we let him play rook takes b2? I thought the whole thing was going to be like, I mean, we're in bad shape, but we got to do something. we got to let him rook on the 7th rank. No lo puedo, rook on the 7th rank. Yeah. So I don't know, maybe he missed it, or he trusted you, or he's just so excited about knight e5. Because that rook, once it lands, it's big. It's threatening queen h3 mate, mouse. Oh no. That's too powerful. So, okay, both players were thinking this was a deal missing L mate. But I want to actually stress, let's just imagine you don't see the mate for whatever reason. Just knight e5. And this rook, look at that thing. He's so angry. Well, you guys both missed it. So knight e5, queen f2. We've guarded him. g5. Now, your opponent is allergic to playing f5. Okay. And now you go queen e2. And you say, I was so worried of the knight forking on g4 that I missed my rook defending the position after I play g4. And you write g4. Boom. Good. This is what black deserves. This is what black deserves. However, there is no queen takes g3. You got to stop it. You got to stop giving him that pawn, buddy. You got to stop giving him that pawn, dude. So you got to have to play rook g3. And by the way, I'm still nervous here, for sure. Of course I'm nervous. Because rook fb8, I don't know. There's my coconuts, dude. They're getting talked to. They're getting talked to. All right, queen e2. g4. Oh, yeah, that's not it. Now we're positionally hosed. So I had a lesson with KGB yesterday, and there was this hilarious moment where he was like, I'm not yelling. This is my normal voice. Okay, a5. That's a little fancy. That's simple chess. Yeah, we're toast here beyond. This is toast beyond toast. Yeah. Okay, so good game, and a couple things to stress. You're playing with the space advantage, right? And you're playing also an opponent that kind of has an idea of what's going on. And this is an old-time opening, this Schmidt-Benoni. I think of it more King's Indian, as I said. But one of the things that's interesting as an old opening is like the computer likes space so much that it's like you can't. In order to play this opening, you would have to just never turn on the computer because the computer just hates it. But you can see kind of like what is the long-term thing? Oh, he wants to play a King's Indian, whereas Queenside's held. King's Indian, whereas Queenside's held, and he's gotten rid of his bad bishop. Okay. Maybe KGV could guest host the grad show. That's right, dude. That's right, dude. Okay. So, okay, good. Let's keep going and going and going and going. And we'll go back. Kraai's going to hit the game grad show button. And next up is Morgan. Morgan says, back in 15-16, after a degraduation, when the rating conversion changed, I've done a lot of tactics and some endgames the last months. Developers and tournament leaders have done a great job with the new round-robin tournament. Thank you very much. If there is something I'm missing, it might be having a possibility to add your analyzed game to a review pool with a page showing games that you can review of lower-rated players who have added their game to the review pool. Right. I agree with that. And we had that idea ages ago. We just have so many things going on that that just hasn't happened. But I don't know why. So I wrote that down on my list. And what happens, is we got all these ideas, and the poor dev team, those guys, dude, they're just telling them this and that. Do this. Hey, buddy, do that. And they're like, yeah, boss, we'll get to it, And then it just turns into a bunch of stuff that they got to do. And, sometimes they're just like, Christ's given us so much stuff to do, I don't know what to do. Now I'm just paralyzed. So Morgan, you don't want to paralyze our dev team, but I will add this to the mix. 31 years old. This guy started early, dude. This guy started early. He's got a kid. He's only 31. Okay, so last OTB game was Feb 2020. Okay. Chess Dojo reignited the chess interest and gave a platform for longer games. Okay, beautiful. Now, can we just enjoy this man's heat map? He is crushing it, dude. He's crushing it. Tactics every day. Up to 1555. We want him to play another OTB game. There's a picture of dude playing OTB. And Norway, dude, I'd be interested if there's like leagues and stuff, I know Norway's going crazy with the chess. Norway's a place I haven't visited yet. That could be a journey. I have a lot of chess journeys that I want to do, but a Norway chess journey, maybe afterwards I go into the fjords or whatever, dude. Yeah, come on. All right, we got some tests being done. Looks good. Maybe you need some work on the checkmates. We're going to go see. Let's go activity first. I just want to click on the tactics because dude has done a lot. And we got loads of mate in twos. That's looking real good. He's done the mate in twos, so it's tests. You can keep doing the tests, by the way, because it just takes the average score of your last 3 tests. That way you can try to improve on it. So that could be a goal for you to improve that tactics or the mate rating. Okay, clubs. Norwegian Dojo. I just love if there were different cities in Norway that had their own one, and then they could have their own team from that city. All right. All right, games. Here we go. So, he's playing the famous I Thought You Knew. Okay, let's just look at this here. So, it looks like this is definitely the most recent one. It's an online game. Let's give her a click. First, I know it's going to look weird here. First, we're going to mark it. I just want to see. We do have clock times. Let's take a look. Here's our time graph, my friends. It looks very decent. Okay? Very decent. first round robin game. I think what this means is the dojo round robin. After this is done, I'm gonna go take you guys there and have a look at just to introduce you to this amazing dojo round robin. All right, game review. Okay, you see my Stream Deck in action, my friends? My computer rating, I think, went up to 700. Now, what I heard, I don't know if it's true, I heard that Jack was talking to his fellow GM computer people there, the Google people. And he was like, this chump thought he was up to 700 just because he got a Stream Deck. He's talking about me behind my back. But, dude, the power level that Boomer GM experiences here with a Stream Deck, you've seen it all in action. You got to admit, my rating has gone up significantly. Just give it to me. All right, here we go. Good move. Good move. Good move. Good move. Good move. H6. Okay. The G6 square is weakened, and since white has the battery on the B1, H7, the knight maneuver to G6 is not easy, since white have multiple pieces looking at that square. Also, as in the game, after playing F5, that square was a big hole in black's king position. White's dark square bishop is forced to a square which it might go to anyway, since moving the bishop back to F2 is a good square for the bishop. This move is still played by many masters, so probably a good move, but for me, just playing knight D7 looks more natural. Good. Okay, good. In fact, you are part of a grand debate of this position that goes back, I would say to the 80s, where Kasparov was the one who introduced this plan for white. Maybe he didn't introduce it the first, but he was the one who really cracked some skulls with it, okay? And H6 is controversial also because maybe later you're going to get whacked with G4, G5. All right, so here we go. Bishop H4, Bishop E6. Good. Good. And knight B6. So that's the first move that definitely looks wrong to me. One of the many problems of Bishop E6 is it makes it hard for black to do the freeing maneuver knight E4. So, for example, like rook E8, knight here, and then knight E4, something like that. Yeah, something like that could be a little bit more standard, especially if you're going to play H6. Okay, and you play F3. Beautiful. Great. I love what you're doing here. Now, could you have also played B3? Yes. But I'm liking your position a lot. And this is definitely, to me, a good example of how you understand a setup and, you just have a general sense of where the pieces belong. And F3 is a very deep move. Like I said, it goes back to the 80s in Kasparov. And it's tricky because you're first dominating the knight. You're giving the bishop away back. And at some point, maybe you'll achieve E4, E5, right? Okay, so here we go. Knight E8, that's no good. I hope you played bishop F2. Nice. Black's position is quite cramped, so thought that keeping the bishop would be good. Absolutely. It's a beautiful bishop. F5, that ain't it. Stops E4, but weakens the squares around black's king. Right. So knight E8 was really bad. Let's see what you do now. It's hard to imagine that knight F4 is a bad move. He goes back. I don't know. It's no longer easy for the guy. And you play knight G6. Now, I think I have sympathy with this move. Okay. Knight G6. And now you go knight E5. Good. Now you got a beast over there. Bishop C8. Oh, man, we're playing a real chump over here. Because let me just tell you what the guy's thinking. this whole thing where he played after knight f4, played bishop b7, and then after knight e5, played bishop c8. He's like, oh, I don't want you to take my bishop. But that's his bad bishop. We were never taking that thing, not unless we're going to win something for it, right? So yeah, get my pieces over to the king side. Well said. Also, that knight on c3 is your worst piece. It needs to be improved. And now you got a path to improve it. Knight d6, okay. Knight f4, and now knight f7. And you talk about bishop e6. It'd be a hard move for him to make after he didn't put it there in the first place. Also, bishop e6. You just win the exchange with knight h. No. Anyways, it looks abysmal. No, you just win the pawn though. You go bang and bang. Okay, so knight f7. That doesn't look good for him. And you go knight eg6. Not interested to exchange the knight with knight. Now, there might be other moves, but I want to say you are playing this correctamundo, at least like according to the spirit of the position. However, let's just note that he's not really taking. This is too big of a pawn. That's a beast of a pawn. You know. All right, so knight eg6. Maybe knight h8? I don't know. Queen d6. Oh, and then you took him. Nah, I don't like it. Okay, so you were well-intentioned, but then we really, following your lead, we don't want to trade off any pieces. So the question then becomes, well, what should we do? And I'll just tell you, my first instinct is to play rook over. And that doesn't mean I'm playing e4 next move. I might not. But I want to see what black's going to do, and I'm just saying, you know what? That rook is going to be useful there. And later, if I don't play e4, I can play bishop g3. I might, in some circumstances, play bishop h4, too, depending on how it goes. Okay. Jesse has all the bravado of a 700-rated player who just learned the London. That's right, buddy. I got a stream deck. Albert is saying maybe knight h5, maybe. Yeah. Okay. Actually, your knight h5 not too bad. Yeah, knight h5 too, actually, but I think he's onto it. Because the problem is, how does black defend this pawn? Oh, so I gave a big highfalutin answer, but Albert Mendoza in the YouTube chat, he's given a simpler one, Mouse. Because on knight e5, I'm going to take with Checkaroonie over here. So yeah, white lost a big part of his advantage when we traded off that chump on e7. We're still doing great, don't get me wrong. Now rook ae1 I still like. Knight h5, I don't know. Rook g6, playing for tricks, rook e6 looks a little bit more natural. Kraai, can you just... Okay, so you write about... Wait, Kraai, you just got to take it easy though, bud, because the guy... He is winning a pawn, so you can't yell at him too much. You can yell at him some. Okay, but here's the problem. With this, we are developing his chump bishop, and now our pieces get a little bit problematic. And further then, we got to deal with knight c4. Okay. Let's read what you write here. Bishop f5, you don't like it much. I definitely agree. We talked about rook ae1 earlier. And you say rook g5, I did calculate this double attack, but did not calculate the same double attack which occurs in the game one move later. These are great notes. Okay, so now we get discombobulated. And this is what it feels like, you know, it feels like you've allowed counterplay, right? It feels like we've allowed counterplay. Now, knight f4, and now my big question would be b3. So knight e3 doesn't work, I don't think, because of rook e1. That's my guess anyway. Yeah. I just show one quick variation. And then we're going to get the rook. So that looks like we're winning. Ah, wait a second, Kraai. Still got that one. What the hell's going on here? Oh, buddy. Hold on. That was complicated. Knight e3. Okay. Rook e1. Knight g2. Rook e7. Knight f4. Whew, that's hot. Now maybe our answer could be Queen g4, Knight h5. I feel like maybe I'm missing something here, but we're about to see. And then we just, dang! You know, and we're going to claim we're winning here. Boss, yeah, I guess we're going to, that was complicated though. And obviously there's more to say. Whoo! You play Knight f4, and dude takes the pawn. Okay, so the knight is now far from the action, you say. And you wanted him to play rook f8. Whew, man, it's a high-level game, honestly. Now, rook f8, can he go knight e6, though, and fork your coconuts? That's a hard position. All right. Okay, so knight b2. We cannot go bishop h4 yet because of queen e3. e4, now we are threatening bishop h4. Whew, the guy takes. We go here. Oh, man. Now, let me just say, buddy, I'm getting nervous. I'm getting real nervous here. Let me just stress, I have no idea anymore who's better here. No, I couldn't tell you. It's just too complicated. Black has several moves here. Queen d6, rook d8, knight c4, e3. It all looks very interesting. You're going to win the rook, sure, but his knight's going to come to g5 and talk to you. Yeah. So I think we lost our minds here. I think you thought this was a mistake, and this was good for you because of the bishop h4 thing. But I don't know. I'm feeling real nervous about this. So I think our critical variation was at b3. Okay, so knight b2. By the way, the thing about winning this pawn isn't just that I won a pawn or got my pawn back. It's that the c4 square is now mine for the knight. See, because if white, unless white does something special, I'm just coming back and he's a big old fatty. He's a big old fatty sitting there. All right, e4, de4, bishop h4. Again, I don't know what's good, the best move for black, but queen d6, rook d8, knight c4 there, it's all looking scary. All right, boom, 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 boom. Okay, so, how to evaluate this position? I don't know. He has helped you. There's no doubt about it. He's had, because his knights are a little bit discoordinated. So we just go back a second. The main thing is the problem with taking on f3 is that it's mobilizing your queen, right? So some kind of other move, queen d6, rook d8, something. We let you take on e4. That's fine. We want to win that d4 pawn. Okay, I like queen d6. So, and your e3 maybe. And this is good play. Force him to give it up. Okay, now, rook d8. Natural, but you ask him an important question. And you say knight f7, white is still clearly better. And I might be willing to believe it, because the problem for him is this knight is kind of a chump, and where does this knight go? You are entering. It looks very dangerous. Maybe black could try to hold it together with here, here, here. But it's still, it's not the happiness we were all dreaming of. However, it's still not going to be totally simple to knock black off with these nice knights. Okay, 94, missing an obvious one. Chess is an easy game. Chess is an easy game. Easy game. Very easy game. All right. So that was great, dude. That was great, Morgan. Oh. And super cool that this is going on in the dojo round robin. Let me take you guys there. So tournaments, round robin. Check this out. Cross table. Let me just check. Oh, Kraai, you need to fix the scene, Bows. Fix that scene, buddy. Okay. Colt is in the now in the 15-16. Now he might be in the other one, but let's just go look at this. 15-16. Look at this. That's some real people right there, my friend. That's some real people. So that's the new one that he could be part of, that he's graduated up into. Recognize a lot of these names. Pheno Chess, for example. The Claw, the famous Claw. These are no chumps. Okay, so let's go back. And now, Kraai, you got to start moving it. We got Dojo Talks at the top of the hour. Maybe someone will gift me with not having to do a game annotation. It's always at the end of the show, I'm always like, oh, maybe they haven't done it. Thankfully, no, if I could get out of here. 1440, well done. Dude is doing his tests. Those look good. Joined pretty recently, but he's been on it. Clubs. European. Okay. The Europeans, let me just say, they're on it more than our American or other Asian friends or whatever. The Europeans are on the dojo working. This looks great. Now we'll go games. We got a game. All right. So, do we have a time graph? We do. Oh, this is the first time I get to yell today about the time. Apparently. I'm not yelling. This is my normal voice. Okay, these people aren't thinking. Hopefully Elvis won a piece or something and we don't have to chastise him for the time not spent. All right. Poor move. E5's a good move. Okay. Oh, now you're doing great. So why is F8 a bad move? Because he's opening up your bishop on F8. Okay. Fine. I like bishop C5 or whatever. Now look at that bad boy. Ooh, buddy, let's talk to him. Now, just a small note, you give this as big advantage to white. I'm sure you mean big advantage to black. All right. Castles. H6. Bishop E6. A3. No one knows what he's doing. No one has a clue. D5. Knight G4. It looks great. Great. Oh, that isn't it, boss. A6. Yeah, bishop E3. Send him home, son. Send him home. Looks like he's inviting you in. He's like, please, come in. Queen F6. Now, you talk about knight D4. That's a good move. Another move I like a lot, makes a lot of sense to me, is F5. The guy is lost now because his coconuts are not connected. Okay, Queen F6. And now Bishop F2. Yeah, your knight would have been a goner. That would have been unfortunate. Knight D1. Yeah, that isn't it. All right, Knight D1, Bishop D1, Knight D4, and now the dude blunders. Knight D4, I want to say, I give you some props. Now, let me just say, Bishop D1, kind of I guess it's a super fancy move, so that we can play C3 next. Knight D4 looks to me to be very tricky, but let me say I don't like it. because you got all these tricks going on, and you got knight takes, bishop takes c3, but also just the immediate c3. So in this position, I think the approach is to say, I'm winning positionally because this guy is god-awful. God-awful, right? So if you're just going to make a move, it's got to be this one, rook a d8. Just put the rook there. Look at this. Is he going to play c3? Well, welcome to it, bud. So rook a d8 is not only a natural developing move, but it's like saying, do you really want to play c3, buddy? And how is your king going to fix itself? Even if you make it over to the queen side, it's going to take you a couple moves. Even if you get there, bows, it ain't going to be so pleasant. All right, knight d4, he blunders. Boom. Welcome to the dojo. And he's just like, I've had enough. Can't take it. All right, good. Let's continue. We're going to continue to pretend that our lives will never end and the flowers never bend with the rainfall. All right, this is Allie. Allie, looks like maybe they just got here. Clubs, nothing. Activity. He's graduated and stuff. Games? No games. So Allie, welcome to the dojo. Boom. Next up, we have Budal. Visualization training. Oh, go back, buddy. Go back. Look at that. Oh, man. Use that Stream Deck, boss. So, visualization training and leaving the miserable Sicilian behind made this happen. The fact that I was even maintaining while dropping 80% of my black e4 games is a Christmas miracle. All right, let's go over here. This is Budal. Am I saying that right? I don't know, but it sounds pretty cool when I say it, right? Budal. I think that sounds great, dude. Okay, Budal. All right, clubs. He's part of Norwegian. Let me just say, this is not just for the Norwegians, but all of them. Like, if you have a town in Norway, bud, set your own club up. Maybe you'll find someone even in your town you didn't even know. Okay, so we got some activity, and dude did. Oh, he made it easy. Just 10 hours of work here. That was easy peasy for Budal. He's got a game. This was played kind of recently. We're going to yell at Budal a little bit for not playing more regular or not annotating more regular. And I've already gone over this game. So Budal, buddy, you gotta do a little bit more work here in the dojo. Yeah. All right. There was his 7 hours of work that he put in to get rid of the Sicilian. I think that's what happened there. If I could have him just recognize, hey, that maybe it's cool that you don't have to play the Sicilian anymore, but whatever opening you do play, if you annotate the games you played in that opening, that's what's going to bring you the major gains. Okay. Quad XE says I got the ooh sound right. Next up, we have Peter Gibson. Best advice is that at my rating level, my focus should be tactics, tactics, tactics. That's what I'm doing, and I'm seeing results. Rating is improving, and the game is more fun with more attacks and sacrifices. All right, here we go. Now, it looks like he's not... Well, actually, let's go dojo points. So you add dojo points. That's interesting. So he's not logging the hours. Okay, this is sometimes people don't log the hours, and then you just go by dojo points, and you can see what they've done. Peter is in Canada. He's doing mucho tactics. Has he done our tactics? He did some checkmate tests. Good. Looking good. And those checkmate tests, at least, all this lines up with his actual rating over here. All right. So clubs. Don't get in the Canadian club, but you need a Canadian club and then the town, whatever town you're in. We need that club too. Games. We got loads. So this wasn't played too recently. Let's go see. Maybe we've already looked at this. I'm going to review it. And here we go. Time graph. Look at that, baby. So that looks fine. This was a Dojo Classical on Lee Chess. And that is what our time graph should roughly look like. So no complaints there. We go game review. Oh, it's so easy, Bows. My computer rating, dude, it's gone up. It's gone up. Bishop e2. Castles. Bishop g5. a5. Definitely a little weird. So plan was knight d7 followed by c5, knight c5. The knight a5 move prevents b4. Okay, couple thoughts. The position here is still very fluid. Okay, so it's not clear that you're going to need a5, right? So moves like h6, e5, c5 look a little bit more normal to me. Maybe even the weird knight c6. a5, queen d2. Okay. Rook e8. I don't like it. I anticipated black, you mean white, would play bishop h6. This move allows me to play bishop h8, avoiding this exchange of dark square bishops. Now, this is a very common mistake. Now, I can't speak for white, but I can speak for the system. The idea that white has is when you play, you're going to eventually play one of these breaks. I don't know which one you're going to do. But when you do so, white wants to push past. And the problem there, the first thing to see is this is the bad bishop, this is the good bishop. Very important to see as a King's Indian player. Because, especially after e5, then this is your bad bishop. So this is a mistake. And a good rule of thumb, Kostya Kavutskiy came up with this one, is that you don't want to play bishop h6 unless you're going to mate the guy. If there's no mate, there's no bishop h6. Nota bene, bishop h6 costs a tempo. Costs a tempo to play bishop h6. Okay, so rook e8 costs us a tempo. We've lost a tempo. He castles long, little frisky for my taste. Little frisky. Knight f3 looks better. Knight a6, intending c5. Now, what I don't like about this is after he goes d5 past you, I don't know what the knight's going to do. h4. He does what he... So, remember what I said? I said, I can't speak for what he's intending, but I could say I could speak for what the system is intending. And he's intending to mate you. c5, d5. Now, one thing that's interesting is rook e8. You could try to make it make sense with an e takes and then e6 and takes the situation. You go bishop d7. He's just going to try to mate you. Loss of tempo. Okay, big deal. Big deal to lose the tempo like this. All right. H takes, F takes, and I have and F3 is natural, but I just want to figure something else out here before we move on. Could dude have played snip, 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 thwack. That's what it looks like to me. That's what it looks like to me. And maybe we continue one more move with here and whack. And the coconuts are crispy. The coconuts are crispy now, son. Okay, so let me stress that what happened here, okay, is that you lost a lot of time because you didn't actually have a feel for the position. The beginning with a5 and then continuing with knight a6, c5, and of course rook e8. So if we go back a second, there's a number of things to do here. But let's say your standard plan is going to be e5. And if you're playing the King's Indian, especially at this level, you don't want to make it too complicated. You know, you want to play for e5. If you're worried about some kind of knight d5 after the trades, which maybe you should be, then give it an h6 first. And the whole idea of this white intention is, you know, to make you do that. And is it a big deal? Not so much. Not so much. Okay, so let's go back and look. He blew it. When you try to mate somebody, you don't really want to take until you have to. So if he was just going to play f3, he could just play f3. I don't think we can do this because of the ye old g4. All right. So f3, it's looking that bad. Bishop h6, he's coming to mate you, Bows. Bishop h8, there's the thing you were dreaming about. All right. g4, here he comes. Here he comes, just walking down the street. I don't have great advice for you here, but I think you need to try e6. I know it looks horrendous. This, though, queen b6, your lady ain't next to your man. He goes knight h3, fine. I don't understand that move. It's hard, though. I don't know what you're going to do. Now he's going to play g5 next. I don't get it, but I don't have any good advice for you anymore. Knight e8, and he plops it. Now, one thing that was controversial about what White did, okay, is he blocked his bishop in, and maybe it wasn't entirely necessary. This cruises over. You got some dreams. You got dreams. White needs a good move here. Queen f4. Looks plausible. Knight c7. Boom, boom. Rook d3. Now, let me just say you're more alive than you deserve to be. So that's good. Okay? White did not mate you as they should have. I don't want to spend too much time because the boys are going to come and be like, Kraai, we have a date at 2. You know, what do you do? But let me just say, it's obvious this position's lost. White does not play it especially well, but it is a lost position. So one cool thing in the annotation process could be like try to find a way, a clean path for White. In the game, he does not find it. And we get this position, rook d3, b5. You are doing, that's correct. You know, now you have organized some nice counterplay. There might be, no, I think you're doing fine. Boom. Allows black. I don't know what he should do though, because CB knight takes, you are opening up said file. Check to the miserable king. Check to the miserable king. Check to the miserable king. Check. Check. This is looking good. Check. We needed to talk about rook d2, I think. Check. Oh. Dang, look at that. Now, a little bit simpler would have been king g8. Then you can go back to queen g7. Oh, mate, baby. That's some Polgar mates, baby. All right. So that was a good game. And you'll get more games like that, especially because at the level you're at, they're not going to be playing interesting chess where they're playing for space. You know, they're going to play for mate. It's something they understand. So you're going to have several games that look and feel a little bit like this. All right. Well done. Let's go. And we have Malta. How many do we got? We got, oh, dude, we got 4 more. Hopefully these people don't have a game for me to analyze. Malta just joined. We're going to give him a follow. He is crushing up here to 1,095 clubs. Aus Deutschland. Okay. And he just started. 1 game. Darn it. No, it's good that you have a game. It's good that you have a game, buddy. Okay, here's our clock. We don't have a clock. Kraai's going to go to game review. Boom. All right, so here we go. This is Malta. All right, very good so far. This is the first move that I didn't know from theory. The usual move here is Springer C6, but the database has still plenty of games with E6. Okay, right. So the grief with E6 is that it's passive, so the bishop isn't getting out. Now, let me just say the obvious. When someone plays a move like that, it's far more constructive to try to analyze and write out what the pros and cons are than to say whatever database says, right? Okay, so bishop c4. You could definitely play c takes d4, right? And you're right, apparently cd4 is the most common move. But let's talk about it. The dream of whites here, whether they play e6 or not, is for you to get a setup. It's just a setup. It's a beautiful setup. You're going to whack this guy, you want a castle. So cd4, bishop d3, castles. That's the dream. And maybe bishop c4 is fine, but I'm just worried about, I want the dream. Takes, frisky by white, frisky, by black, I mean. And you take on d5. Castle short is interesting. You take. C takes b2, and then, right? Now, let me just say, this is getting real spicy. Stockfish is talking to you about bishop g5. Also, black is not being sensitive to the need to castle. Black needs to castle. I don't care about the pawn on d5. I need him to play d6 and bishop b7 castle. I don't care about anything else. So I don't know about that. You play knight b5. Okay. And the computer wants d5. Makes a lot of sense. He's got to get it out. But black is not sensitive. Okay, so I give this speech a lot. At the level you're at, the problem they're going to have is not developing their coconuts, right? And queen e2 is a great looking move. And what you got to see about knight d6, the little problem that should go through your mind is you could say to yourself, oh, I'm helping him develop when I play this move. Now, are you still looking good? I think so. I think you're doing great. Castles, now knight g5. Ooh, yeah, knight g5. Okay, to me it seems like a normal development, but knight g5 with the mate threat would have been stronger. Right. So actually just look at this. This is where a computer can be helpful because it's showing you a pattern, right? And the bummer for black is he's not developed. You're going to mate him because he's not developed. Okay. All right, rook e1. And that's one of the worst moves the dojo's ever seen. Oh, be nice, Kraai. No, I'm not going to be nice. That's a terrible move. It shows that he's completely obsessed with winning the pawn when he needs to be getting his coconuts out. His coconuts do not belong going backwards. Now, you find it very good. F5, I don't know, a little weird. The point of f5 is now suddenly the computer is seeing that it defends the square, so queen b3 doesn't win on the spot. But, come on. And now you play knight e4. Again, queen e4. Yeah. Now, one of the things I want to stress is you're going to get a lot of games like this where your opponent doesn't understand that they need to develop, right? And so learning how to crush that kind of opponent is huge for you. Huge. And with knight e4, I want you to see you're doing the same kind of thinking that he's doing. He's like, I want to attack the pawn. And you're like, I need to defend the pawn. But what we should be saying is, I need to execute this person before they fix their coconuts, right? All right, knight e6. Good move. I think you're going after the pawns here. And knight f6 looks amazing, yeah. He's just, look, you see, he's not even thinking about getting he's not even thinking about getting that bishop out mouse. All right. So some things are happening here that I don't quite understand. So, queen g5, and now the milk's kind of gone bad here. Oh my gosh, the biggest mistake. It's horrendous. Yeah, this is the one. The curious thing is, the guy is so poor at developing, maybe you even have a chance, even though you're trading off all your coconuts. Oh, looks bad. Oh, man, Malta. Okay. So listen, we don't have the clock times. This is obviously a very painful loss. A couple things. I'm not sure the use of the stockfish is helping you that much. It's fine to look with the engine, but you want to look for yourself first because you want to put things in terms of ideas. For example, this chump is not thinking about the development at all. And you were partially guilty of the same thing. So there's a sense of urgency that you need to have when they don't develop their things, right? Because you're going to get it a lot. Like at this level, these people are not going to fix their stuff, right? And they're going to do it again and again and again, right? Okay, so that's my takeaway message. Next up, we got Dr. Otacon. Finally managed to claw my way back from the Great Reset of September 24. This one does feel well earned. I wonder what the Great Reset was. Oh, Kraai. Fix it. Yeah, fix it. Boom. All right, look at that. Now, maybe the Great Reset was just we had the new heat map, and it looks like he just reset himself over there, doing a lot of tactics. Looks like a daily tactics kind of thing, playing regularly. Not a lot of games. Well, hopefully we'll see a game in there. Hopefully we'll see a game. All right. Dr. Otacon doing some tactics. Okay. That looks pretty reasonable. The checkmate test could be a little higher. Clubs. Okay, good. Games. Oh, he's got loads of games. So, Dr. Otacon, you need to write your... I knew you had some games in there because I've seen other games from you, but you need to have more in there, bud. I don't know why you're not... There's no yellow in here for games and analysis. The Great Demotion of 24. No, it was... But it wasn't September. It was a little earlier than that. All right, this is Robert Schneider. This is Mark Reviewed. This is okay, I understand. So this was, let me just show this here. It looks weird, and I know exactly what happened. When he entered the times, at some point he wrote, instead of the minutes column, he wrote the hours column. And I'm going to actually write a note, another one, to our poor dev team. And he wrote it in hours, and then the grief became that this thing, shot up. But you can still see what the look of this graph is. It doesn't look poor at the end. White's got enough time, and black played well. Okay, so the time was not an issue. Just the way he entered the time was a little bit of a problem. Let's go game review. Oh, that's Stream Deck, bud. I'm a 700 computer player now, bud. Whoa, this man has no respect. Whew. So this is the dream of the Schliemann, as I understand it, right? That you get this position. It might be good to say in the notes what White should have done otherwise. It's been kind of an amazing surprise to me that the Schliemann is kind of sort of playable. That's been a big surprise to me. It was a surprise to Fischer too, and it was kind of interesting to learn that he spent a long time trying to bust it. A long time. All right, so H3, this guy's just being passive, and you're taking over the game. Bishop D2, another passive move. First move I'm not happy with. I think it's a bit slow. With White's king still in its home square, it's time to rip things open with E4. All right, let's take a look. E4. Snip, snap. Oh, you want that bad boy? Maybe. Oh, that does look pretty powerful. You just can't deny. Okay, that looks good. But gotta say, Bishop D7 is the right spirit because he's not doing anything. Oh my God, that's gross. Just gross. And now we're going to go E4. Okay. Taking with the pawn would have been better. Okay, though it's kind of hard to argue with this, isn't it? Because your business is so nice. Now we blunder with not seeing that our pawn is hanging. Yeah, something like Bishop E6, right? We blunder this. Oh no. Rook F7. Now maybe you're still on top. What's going on here? Castles. Yeah, knight f6. Aren't you up a piece? Okay, time out. I got to look back. So it's obviously sad that you missed that he could take on d5. So what are we saying? Is queen d5 a mistake? In reality, gf4 would have been better for white, right? So gf4, and then you have some, it was weird actually, like what is your, why did you do this? What's the idea with rook takes f4? Like let's say you didn't see queen takes d5, right? Is knight g3 really such a crusher? Because you got a great position, you're up in time, his position's kind of squanderous, that's a new word for me, squanderous. So why are we doing fancy things anyway? Okay, so queen d5, blunder. And now we just go knight f6 or something and we're fine. Knight f2. And now we're back in the hell hole. Queen f5? Oh, man. Oh, I don't know what's happening here. I need talking. I need talking to. So hold on. I'm interested in this move. I'm interested in this move. It looks very painful. Okay, so weird things happen. Queen f8, you're back in it. Knight g5. Oh no, the milk's gone bad. It ain't looking good. It ain't looking good. Mate. Okay. Oh, yeah. So, one of the things I really want to say it again. When you are at any level, okay, the way to learn an opening is to annotate your games. Look at your games. So, for example, you played this Schliemann, you're going to get a lot of times. This is the whole dream. This is the whole dream. And you want to have a sense of why this position is so amazing. So even though your bishop d7, I don't hate it too much, right? The idea, though, is that you are dominating this guy's pieces, control, right? So you're going to get it again. And then, you don't have to force a tactical solution with moves like rook takes f4. Okay, good. Let's continue. We got Winesburg, Ohio, a name. Oh, wait a second. Yeah, a name I haven't seen for a while. I remember Winesburg, Ohio. Winesburg, Ohio's been around for a while, if I remember correctly. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's just I remember the name Winesburg, Ohio. Kids haven't read many books. They don't read anymore. But Winesburg, Ohio's a good book. Interesting book. Critical in the history of American literature. So, do we got hours work? Nothing. Nothing's going on here, Winesburg. What's going on, buddy? Clubs. UK Dojo. How can you be from the UK, one of the strongest literary traditions in the world, and then start talking to me about Winesburg, Ohio? Come on. Activity. So I don't understand how come dude doesn't have any activity. Winesburg, you got games? He's got a game. I think sometimes people are trying to kill me. They're trying to kill me, They're just trying to kill me. All right, here's the time graph. And we could argue that these people need to think a little bit more. We'll see if we're going to yell at them in just a second. You see my Stream Deck, buddy, in action? You like that? Okay, so far so good. H6 is terrible. You're going to get a lot of people playing this kind of time-losing move against you. 95, terrible, losing time. Good? Fine. I like bishop g3 a little bit better, but it's fine. Poor. Fine. Fine. I don't like it because you're allowing 95. So castles, right? Castles just simple chess. So queen f3, and we got to say you missed knight e5. And then this has got to be a blunder. What are we doing? Why are we giving away our nuts? Who's nuts? Don't say it. Don't say it. And then this one's poor because he really wants to play g6. Right? He wants to play g6. So, boom, boom. Weird. The guy doesn't have any feel for the fact that he's got to develop his stuff. All right. So h3 would be normal, and then you're going to pop him with f4, f5. One of the other things weird about f4 is even if you miss bishop g4, which I don't know, you're still allowing knight g4. Okay, so here comes knight c4, and you go bishop c1. Now, let me just stress something. This guy is not developing their coconuts, right? So this is the moment where you might want to say to yourself, screw the bishop, dude. I want to open the position and murder him. So f5 looks real interesting. Because we're going to have knight e6 as a threat. We're opening this thing. You know, it's very dangerous for black. Because why? Because black isn't developing their things. And the bishop c1 is just so sad. Oh, f5, good move. Good move. Good move. Well, he really did it to himself there, didn't he? Boom. There we go. Ah, chess is so fun sometimes. It's so nice. Oh, check. Oh, it's just yard sale. Oh, buddy, look at this. C3, I like that one. Oh, man. This guy won't resign. Okay, so good. Something just to say here, right, is you are going to play, as part of your journey, especially in these lower 1,000 cohorts, you are going to play mini chumps who give you time in the opening, right? h6, knight e5, a6, all this stuff. And so just realize you are going to play this kind of chump again and again and again, and you just want to get good at it. Right? You want to get good at wasting them. That is your course for right now. Same way, under 1,000, people are going to give you pieces all over the place. Here, like this guy, he ends up giving you a yard sale too. But you see the point. We're just going to collect those tempi, and we're going to learn how to win, how to beat them. Going over our games is the way to do it. All right, here we go. Next up, we got Neil. This is our last for the day, my friends. Oh, see, I made it, dude. It wasn't so bad. So Neil, what's going on? He's got some dojo points. He's not logging his hours. And looks like he had some kind of September reset. Kraai, can you get there, buddy? I can get there. All right. So Neil's in the UK. Has graduated muchos times before. He is playing on the Lee chess. Hasn't done any tactics. We encourage Neil, let's see if he's got clubs, to get his own dojo club going on. And, well, we'll see where his games, but, you know, you can play these beautiful leagues in England. Let's see if we got a game. We got a game, and you know what? I'm not complaining this time. I was just a little nervous before that I wasn't going to make it to the end. Because we're doing the World Championship preview at 2. And I know, this old man needs a break, dude. I got to collect my thoughts, close my eyes for a second. Anyways, we have made it. Let's check out Neil over here. All right, so take a little look. Uh-oh, I get one final yell of the day. The good news is, my friends, I'm not yelling at Neil. I'm yelling at his opponents. He is not thinking at all. What are we going to say? We're going to say we see this all the time in the online games, right? All the time. And we do hope that Neil was completely winning by move 28. So just remind me if he was or wasn't. If he wasn't completely winning, then we're going to chastise him. All right. Boom. Game review. So far, so good. E6, a little weird. H6, a little weird. A little weird. A little weird. Bishop d6. Now your bishop's out. 95, a little weird. I don't know. Okay. DE looks better. Knight f3. He's not developing. 94, okay. let me just say, your problem here is your bishop on c8. Okay? You need to fix him. You need to fix him. We're not fixing him. Now, this is weird that you just give up the pawn, but it is true that you fixed your bishop. So maybe I shouldn't yell at you too much there. Good move. Oh, this is looking bad. This is looking real bad. Yeah. Well, so it's not surprising that you're lost here because we lost so many tempos and we blocked in our bishop and then we gave up a big center pawn. Now, white gets fancy with knight h4. Maybe a little too fancy. What's the simple thing for white to do? Just castle. We have a completely winning position. h4 could be another move. It's frisky with knight h4. Now I think we should definitely try to trade the queens with queen g5. If we can trade the queens, we might live another day. h5, queen g3, g5. Oh, no, bud. Oh, no. Slow it down for me. So, g5, let's talk about it. This guy wants to trap the bishop on e5, and it doesn't deserve to work. But maybe it's going to work. I don't know. It doesn't deserve to work, but maybe it's going to work. Okay, we also want to say that if it does work, if there's a universe where this g5 stuff works, it's because of knight h4. Maybe it's going to work, dude. Maybe. I don't believe it. Okay, here's the way. So white just needed to think for a second. Did he think? No, he only spent a minute. So remember that time graph thing that I showed, right? Let's go back. Time graph. Boom. White has a distinct problem on his hands here. And it's called, oh no, I might lose my bishop. So you're not going to move here, buddy, unless you figure it out, right? You shouldn't move unless you figure it out. So we go back. What's the way? It's not f4. You play a5, bud. Kick the bishop, win the pawn. Life is easy. Your bishop is free. Right? No need for the craziness. Now, did I see it at first? No, I had to think about it for a second, bud. I had to think about it. It's not instant. Right? Sometimes thinking helps. Sometimes it helps. Okay, f6, a5. Now it's not going to work. Bishop a7. He goes d5. He's got to try something. And you say bishop d5 still miscalculating. You need to tell us, though, what you think you should have done. Right? I don't know. It's complicated. Is it queen d5? What is it? What did you want to do? Bishop d5, bishop d4, king h7. It's getting spicy and real. Knight f3. Why wouldn't he play fg first? Makes more sense. Oh my gosh, dude. Oh. You can't do it this way, buddy. You got it for your king, buddy. You're opening your kimono wide open. What are you doing? What are you doing? Simple chess. And now he goes queen h4, losing to queen h5. Okay. Bishop h5, g4, fg, queen f7. And right around here is where you stopped thinking. Now, let me just describe this to you because we have seen this muchos times. What's going on here? No one knows. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. No idea. I'd have to think about it for a second. But what we have seen muchos times is when people get to the end game, they think that the position is easy. They think there's nothing to calculate, that it's all over. No, party's just beginning. Party is just beginning here, my friends. It is just beginning. Okay? So, for example, bishop d4 followed by rook f3 looks interesting. If I was playing this game, what would I have to do? I'd have to think about it. Right? So you play king h6 in 39 seconds. There's a lot to talk about here. One problem is on bishop a7, I'm worried your rook is out of play. That's a real concern for me. I don't know rook g1. So you win the pawn. Congratulations. Castles. Rook f3, finally. King c2. Check. Good move. Good move. King d1. He's not thinking. He's not thinking. Rook g2. Bang. Thank you very much. Bang. Now we have a very nice position. Check. King f3. Was it? No. Oh, who is this chump? Oh, what are you doing? Who taught this guy to play the chess, dude? No. Easy peasy. Okay, so again, what we see in the dojo all the time is people stop thinking when they get to the end game, and they usually also stop annotating. So, for example, there was a lot of talk up here about the different moves and everything, yada, yada. But once we got over here, it's like, oh, this is real critical. We get to this end game, right? People have blundered. I get it. It's hard. Life is hard. But, dude, it's time to be thinking here. Time to be thinking. For example, Queen f7, he should be castling. What's going on? Castle, my friend. Okay, you guys, that was great. Lex Kimono is swinging in the breeze, MD Knight says. Yeah. Oh, dude, you don't want to show KGB, dude. He might yell at you. He might yell at you, Bows. Okay, let's stop it there. Actually, let me check the Discord in case someone's yelling at me. This pertaining to this stuff.